And we're live. All right. Welcome to Meet the Manager meeting. Somebody pointed out the other day that at some point in the Meet the Manager meetings, I failed to introduce myself. Like I just stopped doing that. And it's a Meet the Manager meeting, so it was pretty ironic that I'd stand up here and give this update and never say, hi, my name is Stephen Mills. I'm your General Manager here at Treasure Lake. So, hi, my name is Stephen Mills. I'm the General Manager here at Treasure Lake. You have officially met the manager. All right. All right, so as usual, I'll give some updates and we'll open the floor to questions. Total memberships, 6,736. Memberships in the vault, 764. Sales year to date, 153 sales year to date. 93 of those have been referrals from owners and 25 have been visitors to our RV show booths. Just a reminder, 250 memberships at $1,250 each in celebration of America's 250th anniversary, and an anniversary that we celebrated last week. It was awesome, amazing, wonderful time. I heard that traffic flowed really smoothly this year compared to previous years. So just a big round of applause for all of our staff and volunteers, and there's a lot of planning. And after any event like this, we have a debrief where we talk about things that we can do better next year, things that went really well this year that we want to keep. So I think there's quite a bit on the keep column. There's always room for improvement, and we will keep making that event better every single year. Financials, January through April, financials have been posted to the website. Total revenue is $28.3 thousand better than budget, and cost of goods sold is down by $9.6K. Expenses are down by $6.6K, and our net revenue or bottom line is $47.1K better than budget. And we expect May financials to be posted early next week. Storage is 99% full with 3 open spots and 63 on our waiting list. And you may ask, Stephen, last week we were at the same position with 3 open spots. With 4th of July, our storage coordinator kind of took on a different role. She helped coordinate everybody coming in with towing and with security to make sure our live map stayed updated constantly because there was so much movement. So we expect that those 3 spots to be filled soon. Tickets open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we've recently added contracts with Dolly Stampede, Titanic, Wonderworks, Taylor Reed, and Todd Oliver. Just a reminder, church services, Sunday services begin at 9 a.m. If you'd like to preach during a Treasure Lake Sunday service, please reach out to Annie by emailing activities@tlresort.com. Occupancy year to date, RV nights are up by 1% year to date, and rental nights are up 2% year to date compared to last year. On the 4th of July, our peak occupancy day, we had 572 RVs on site, 572. Our regular occupancy number is based on 559 RV sites, and since not all regular sites were used due to the size limitations, our occupancy report showed less than the 102% based on the number of regular sites. So if you were looking at your occupancy report and you're like, we never made it to 100%, well, that's because not every single site on the park that's a regular site got filled, but we were actually at 102% occupancy if you just take the raw numbers. So Snack Shack is open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and hours will match the outdoor pool, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The trailer sales, so bids were reviewed, and the winners were Janet Alspach with a winning bid of $7,500 for the Pioneer, and Troy Johansson with a winning bid of $5,000 for the Starwood, and congratulations to those winning bids. Mini golf and Gaga ball carpet repair. So I know I touched on this last week, but if you're just joining us, I wanted to give this update again. When we initially contracted for the work, the plan was to have this completed by the 12th of June. However, due to weather conditions and the need to have a 48-hour dry time before the adhesive could be applied, the project was pushed past its original projected timing. Maintenance crews were working with the contractor to ensure the project was completed as soon as possible. We did have a meeting with the company's owner earlier last week after it was discovered that the material order for this project fell well below what was needed for completion. The additional cost was over $7,500. After negotiating with the owner of the company, they agreed to finish the project at no additional cost. Since this material must be ordered from out of state, we are anticipating project completion by the middle of this month. Total allowable project cost was $11,940.25. The project scope, including the additional material for the project, retailed at over $20,000. So we're not happy with the delay, but I do commend getting forward and going above and beyond to make it right. So just to be clear, we are paying $11,940.25. We are receiving $20,000 worth of work to the mini golf. So thank them for making that right. Workout room. So going forward, the workout room will have a coded entry lock. This code will change weekly, and the code can be obtained by stopping by the activity center or by calling security. And just a reminder, that room, you need to be 16 years or older to be in there, unattended with an adult, which is one of the reasons we're putting that lock on it. We've seen some things that it seems like maybe some kiddos are getting in there and not cleaning up and not treating the equipment with respect. So we want to make sure that that area, again, if you need the code, you can call security. You can also stop by activities, but there will now be a coded lock on that. So, boil advisory. During a valve repair in phase 2, a valve up the line from the repair failed. Unfortunately, the failed valve was the only valve between the repair and the main line, forcing our maintenance crews to shut off our main line feeding the park. This was not planned, and because of the loss of water pressure, we have issued a boil advisory park-wide. Please know that this is a precaution we take that is advised by DNR anytime we lose pressure. The testing is done by Taney County Health Department. We'll be looking into alternative lab testings that has a quicker turnaround time on tests that have been submitted to lessen the impact and time the park is under the advisory. So we had a small leak, and we were planning on kind of changing it live with reduced pressure, and when we went to reduce the pressure didn't reduce, and that's when we realized that other valve had failed. So it was not planned. I know it impacted the entire park, including Forest Park. Normally, if we're going to do something, we know there's going to be an outage, we let everybody know in advance. I was also alerted that our communication effort on the boil advisory could be better. So we've adjusted that plan to make sure that it's posted on the website, that the guard shack is letting everybody know. Again, that we're calling people that are staying in a cabin that wasn't aware of the boil advisory. We're also utilizing that text and email system through NewBook, and I had some people say, hey, this is really one of the first big tests that we had to do with the system. We did find out that some of our emails are going to spam, so if you're not getting our emails, and you should be, stop by the front desk, make sure your email is up to date and it's the right email. If it is, and you're not getting it, it's probably because your your email provider has decided that we are spam. So adding us to a safe sender list will prevent those messages from going to spam. And then also on the phone number, if you didn't get a text message and you're staying here on Park, stop by the front desk, because you should have gotten a text message. Every person that was checked into the park should have received a text message that said, hey, boil advisory. So if you didn't, stop by the front desk, make sure the number is correct, and that it's also listed as your cell and not your home phone. Apparently the system was not smart enough to go, nobody really has a home phone anymore, and they should all be considered cells. So if it was in the home column when everything was transferred, it won't text you because it says, well, that's a landline, I'm not going to text it. So we are working to migrate all those phone numbers over as well. But if you didn't get a text, again, stop by the front desk and just make sure your information is up to date. Feedback and maintenance, don't forget you can provide feedback and report maintenance issues using the QR code or by visiting our website and clicking the QR code at the bottom of our homepage. And then board election, it's that time of year again. Treasure Lake will have 2 board spots in the next election. If you are interested in serving on the board, please pick up a candidate packet. They're available to be picked up from me at the Welcome Center and are due back to me on August 27th by 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just a reminder, I am not here on Sundays and Mondays, so if you're going to stop by and grab a packet, if you could do it between Tuesday and Saturday, that would be great. Remember to be included on the ballot. Packets must be turned in and include 25 signatures of members in good standing as defined by the bylaws. And our next regular board meeting is July 18th at 3 p.m. here in the clubhouse. And again, if you volunteered for the 4th, we had the best volunteer turnout since I've been here, and just really appreciate, again, the volunteers, the staff, everybody that stepped up to help make 4th of July such a huge success. So, any questions? All right. They never mentioned it?
No.
Okay.
I just heard about it.
Gotcha.
And so I think they should tell people.
They should be. They should be telling everybody that's checking in, and then everybody that's going through the guard check should also know. So that's not the first time I've heard that. So me and Michael met this morning, and I just asked him to remind all the staff, hey, when we have a boil advisory, we got to be at every location we can saying, hey guys, it's a boil advisory.
Do we know how long it's going to be?
Do we know how long it's going to be? Yeah, so typically you have to have so many tests back within a certain amount of period, a certain amount of time. We got the tests back within the time period that a lab should have been able to turn around before the weekend and say you're clear. But we're kind of at the mercy of the health department to do the testing at their lab and then say you're clear. We did not get the all clear before the weekend. We were really pushing for it, which is why we're going to look for an alternative lab solution, possibly in Springfield, that might have a quicker turnaround time, maybe even be open on the weekends. So that when this happens, because it always seems to happen, on a Thursday. And it's like, well, we know it's going to be at least until Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to try to find a better solution for that. As of right now, the lab isn't open again until Monday, so I'm anticipating that Monday that will be lifted. And just to recap, I mean, it really is, when we do a boil advisory, we're not saying that there's something wrong with the water. It's potentially could be because we lost water pressure. For years, Treasure Lake did not issue a boil advisory when they did work or when there was a busted pipe. When I first got here, one of my main jobs is look at risk for the park, and that could be a huge risk for the park if we work on a pipe, close it up, and then somebody gets sick. Again, we've never had a negative test come back. There's never been a test that said you've got something dangerous in the water. But it's a precaution that we take to make sure that liability in the park is reduced. So, that was a really long way to say Monday. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got a friend, another owner here that checked in on Thursday. He couldn't make it this morning. Wanted me to point out that they come in around 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, there are like 8 people waiting to get checked in and one person working the desk on a Thursday afternoon. Don't know if you're short-staffed, don't know what the situation is. He just wanted me to point that out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The week after 4th of July, there's a lot of people work a lot of hours, so we do shuffle some things around and people take some time off, so that's probably what happened. But I'll make sure that if there's somebody in the office available. One of the frustrations that's been pointed out before is you've got a lot of people in the back office. Why can't somebody else come up and just jump on the register? Well, that register is assigned to somebody. So, even if I knew how to run the register, I wouldn't be able to get up there and actually run the register because that register hasn't been assigned to me. So, but as far as having enough staff there, I'll touch base with Michael and make sure that if there is a point that somebody else can jump in, that's happening because, yeah, appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that our little Annie, for the 4th of July, for the little children and everyone else, she did an awesome job. And our little children were well taken care of. And everybody. I mean, from back to everybody was really stepped up to their game. And it was a wonderful, wonderful 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was much more than one day, right? Yeah. A lot of hard work that whole week and a lot of planning leading up to it. So, you have a wedding anniversary coming up, don't you?
Yes.
How many years?
59.
59 years.
With the same man. What a trial.
Exactly what Warren told me.
With Warren or me? Frank?
He can say whatever he wants to.
I'm just amazed that anybody can keep up with Dancing Donna.
He can't, honey.
He can't. Okay. Oh, that's okay.
I can still walk to the landing. He can't.
Yeah.
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 So if any of you see him out walking, please pick him up.
Well, I always see Donna, and then about 30 minutes later.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Almost missed you back there.
Sorry, I slipped in a little late here. So, one of the things I would like to see is another notification or multiple notifications of when we do have a boil order or an emergency of some sort. We used to have, at our city, something called Code Red. And Code Red is something for any type of emergency it's usually for tornado, flooding, etc., but it can be used for other things. And there's other services similar to that. So if we had a boil order, we had tornado warnings, or we had something in the park, we had an emergency vehicle coming through yesterday, notifying people, if we notify people other than putting it on Facebook, which is great, but I'm on vacation. That's the last thing I want to do is hop on Facebook. I do IT for a living, so I stay away from my phone, I stay away from the iPad, I stay away from the laptop as much as possible. But even if we had the little stand-up advertising at the gate, so when people are coming in and out, they know, hey, we've got severe weather tonight, or we've got flood warnings, or we've got something else going on like the boil order. That would be a great way, I think, and it's not expensive. And everyone that comes in and out of the park, or you could put them at the end of each phase, so people are more apt to see that. And those advertising panels are super cheap, super easy to take in, take out, and make sure people get notified.
I appreciate that. The sign is a great idea. We actually just purchased some new A-frame signs, so getting an insert that says Boil Advisory Active is something we can do relatively cheap. As far as the weather goes, just so that everybody's aware, I probably haven't mentioned this in a long time, but everybody is aware that when there is severe weather that we hang a black flag at the guard shack, right? Everybody's aware of that? A flag goes up. All right, so when you're driving in, if you see a flag hanging, that means there's severe weather for our area coming in. So,
Is it black or red flag?
is it red?
I think it's red.
We have both.
Oh, yeah, both. The
Bentley, what's the distinction between black and red?
One of them is severe weather, and one of them is tornado warning.
Gotcha. Is the black the tornado warning?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the tornado warning.
So I'm sorry, red is just severe weather, black is tornadoes. But if you see a flag, open your weather app. How about that? If you see a flag hanging up at the guard shack, open your weather app. There's some nasty stuff coming. But we'll look into the A-frame signs. And I don't know if you were here when I was talking about it, but we do have a text system and an email system that we're both utilized. It's a new system. Again, if you didn't get the email or text message, stop by the front desk. What triggers that is being checked in. Testing at this time, we did find out that we had not included UAs, which is unassigned, meaning you've pulled into the park, but you don't actually have a site yet. So you've checked in, but you haven't chosen your site. We've added that to the list now, so if you're on a UA list, you will also get those notifications. But if you didn't get a notification and you were checked in on the park, and I need to make that clear, if you weren't checked in on the park, you wouldn't get a notification, because we don't want to spam text every single person that's a member of the park if it has to do with something on the park. So if you're checked in the park, you should have got it. If not, stop by the front desk, make sure it's updated, and let us know after you update it if you don't receive that message, because you should be. Yes, sir?
What happened with the fireworks? Was there a technical issue with the fireworks this year? The show was great. I just didn't know there wasn't a grand finale, I guess, was the concern.
Yeah, you may have noticed it took a while for the lights to come on. That's because I was also waiting on the big ending. Yeah, I think it ended with like 5 little flares. So I did talk to the shooter that night. I've also talked with a representative from the company. I'm waiting to hear back from them, but there was very clear a technical issue. The shooter had told me that when they hit the go button, everything's pre-programmed, and something in the control box did not operate properly. So stuff was not going off. So at that point, he started manually shooting stuff off, which is why we saw kind of a really big middle and then no end. He did say that only 2 cases of fireworks did not go off. So almost everything went off, which some of that is expected. You expect that in any show that, a case or 2 might not go off. But I'm waiting for the company to get back with me on whether it was the control module and then what exactly they're going to do about that, because that was definitely a technical failure. And a lot of people said it was an amazing show, which, you know, again, all the fireworks, you know, most of them went off. That's great. It certainly wasn't what I was expecting. So more information to come on that.
Is it the same company we used last year?
No, it is not. So AM Pyro was the company we were using the year before. This year was Pyro Spectacular, which was a different company than we used the prior year. And we had been with AM Pyro for several years before that. So
Still a good show.
he says still a good show. It depends on who you ask.
Is the arrival at dusk park and overflow rule still in effect? Because the other night, it was almost dark and somebody was driving through looking for a site.
Yeah, that rule is still in effect. If that dusk light is on, it should be straight to overflow. So somebody else told me that there was some mention of that on Facebook, that somebody was trying to park at night. So me and Bentley have discussed it. We're going to make sure that if we know about it, we're going to stop it. Now, again, somebody can sneak into the park, especially through the back, or pull their rig out of storage, right? If they come in, the guard checks them in, and then they can go get it from storage. If it's not in the fenced area, then they might be able to drive around and park. But if we see it, that's an issue. And just so everybody's aware, if that dusk light is on, we shouldn't be parking RVs. It's overflow, and then you can park the next morning. Yes, sir.
Can you explain the dusk light? Is it just a light by the guard?
Yep, it's a light on the guard shack. So if you are pulling in and that light is on, it's a dusted on light. And if that light is on, yeah, it's dusk, and we're not allowed to park except for an overflow. And security is escorting those individuals to overflow, parking them, and then they can select a site the next day.
And do they sleep in that RV when they overflow?
I mean, I would assume so. I mean, they don't have to. I mean, they could go get a hotel room if they wanted to or something, but
There's
I-
electric and stuff.
I would assume they would. Yeah, there's electric and water. They just don't have sewer over there in overflow.
The one last night that came in, I saw them come in. It's possible that the light was not on when they come through the gate, but they rode around, and it got dark. I mean, it was dark. So I was sitting outside, and then I didn't see them. But this morning, they were headed in. I think they must have come back to overflow. So I think security found them and brought them back. That's my thinking. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
you know, they can come in. If they ride around a while, it gets dark.
Yeah, if you come in, the light isn't on, and you drive around for an hour and it gets dark, then just be aware, be safe. If dusk happens and you can't find a spot, head to overflow. We'll help you find a spot in the morning.
Everybody's pleased.
Going once. Oh, we got one more.
I have seen a lot of young kids driving the golf carts. I mean, they cannot be 16 years old and they don't have an adult with them. And they're driving pretty fast. So is there anything we can do?
I mean, beyond, if you see it, say something. Security's on the lookout for it. You would actually be surprised, and Bentley could attest to this. We've stopped somebody before, and they do have a license. So, how young are we talking?
Probably 13 years old.
Yeah, so if you see somebody that is obviously too young to be driving a golf cart, call security. I know that there's been times when it's been called out. Security will get in their vehicle and try to hunt them down, and they've already parked and they're gone. We can't find them. But I can assure you that security is on the lookout for anybody that does not have a driver's license that is driving a golf cart. I don't let my son. He's gonna kill me for saying this. You know, he looks like 12.
Yeah, I know.
I won't let him drive a golf cart because I don't need that kind of drama in my life. Drive your truck, but you can't drive the golf cart on park. Sorry, bud. You gotta grow a little chin hair first and then I'll let you drive the golf cart.
But if he is 16 and has a license, what's the issue? I mean, he looks young, but he's legal.
Absolutely. That's a personal choice that I make as a parent and as the general manager. I don't want to get calls about my son driving around because he doesn't look 16.
He sure doesn't.
There are some that don't.
Yeah.
My grandson, he had a learner's permit. I was driving with him.
Yeah.
And we went up to a store, parked, and somebody said, "You don't look to be driving."
Yeah.
Sure he is. But
Yeah.
he didn't look it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they can't drive. I want to make that clear. If they have a driver's license, they are able to drive a golf cart. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying my son looks a lot younger than I would expect a driver to look. And part of that's just me getting older, and I got to deal with that, I guess. So.
But there's also parents and grandparents riding with these young ones driving.
Yeah.
They still don't have driver's license.
And that's not okay.
I've seen them 10 and 12 years old.
Yeah. It is not okay for anybody without a driver's license to operate a golf cart. So, again, if you see it, say something. Security's doing their best job to catch anybody. And sometimes I give it to security because it's a tough thing to judge. And there are times, and I'll just say this to parents as well, if your child gets pulled over, if you're with them or not, and they are of driving age, please do not get mad that we pulled them over. Again, we are just trying to enforce that rule, and if they look on the cusp, we're gonna pull them over, and if they are, then it's all good, no harm, no foul. Move right along. We've had some parents upset that we've pulled over their kid, and they just look too young to be driving, but they weren't. So, and I'm not saying that there aren't kids either that are driving. We've also caught that. And when we do, we escort them back to wherever they're staying and talk to the parents, and that's not allowed, not okay. So I don't know that we'll ever be able to stamp it out 100%. Yes, sir.
What about the little ones that have the electric scooters and the electric bikes? They're going speed limit fast.
I have never in my time here seen a scooter or bike speed. That's a joke. Yeah. Yes. Just because you're on a scooter does not mean that the speed limit doesn't apply. So, and stop signs apply too. Yeah. There's no magical shield you get when you're riding a bike that allows you not to stop at stop signs. So, again, obey all the rules of the road. Be safe. Parents, tell your children, don't speed.
Wear a helmet.
What'd you say?
Wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet. Yeah, helmets are not required, but we highly suggest wearing a helmet. It has actually been statistically proven, this is going to shock everybody, that if you get into an accident on a scooter or a bike and you're wearing a helmet, you have a better outcome. Believe it or not. That was also a joke. You guys are a tough crowd today.
So a guy walks into a bar.
Oh, no, we don't need that one. This is a family park. All right, any other questions? Yes, sir.
So, I've been a member of the park for over 25 years. My parents were also members beyond that. And over the years, I know we have continued to sell memberships to the park. However, now we're to the point that we've exceeded the limitation of the park, but yet I think we're still selling those. Is that correct? At what point are we gonna discontinue the sale of memberships and not provide the services to the people that have paid for memberships?
So just to be clear, the cap of memberships that can be sold by Treasure Lake is outlawed in our restrictions, 7,500. Everybody that has a single membership has bought 1/7,500th of Treasure Lake. It's a deeded piece of property, 1/7,500th. So if you're asking me when, 7,500, that's when. The other thing I would point about capacity is the only time that we get close to capacity is 4th of July. And I don't know that we've ever had to turn, at least since I've been here, we haven't had to turn anybody away. Again, this year we came close, but we still had over 20 places that we could put somebody if they were to show up and serve them. So as of now, that's the cap. That's what it's set at, and we will continue selling memberships until we reach that threshold. But it's really not a concern on any other time except 4th of July. So, yes, sir.
What's that number at right now?
6,736, and we currently have 764 memberships in the vault. Yes, sir.
In the past, side-by-sides are, well, put it this way, golf carts or any off-road vehicle that had a steering wheel was allowed. This year, I saw a couple of four-wheelers in the park. Are they being allowed now? And if so, are the side-by-sides and the UTVs required to have a sticker? Because the rule says golf cart.
Yeah, so we're looking at changing that language so that that insurance requirement would be required for anything. I think right now it says golf cart, and it should be required for anything. As far as being allowed on the park, there's no rule currently, and there had been in the past about four-wheelers on the park. So as of right now, it's not against the rules, which is why you're seeing them on the park.
When did they change that?
2 years ago, when we did the major revision 2 years ago, and I think it's taken this long to see them start popping up because it had been a rule for so long. But I believe 2 years ago is when we tried to simplify. It's a tough thing to balance because we can, in an effort to simplify the rules, there were some rules that weren't included. As you're reviewing those rules, we've got two roads to go down. We can either make it a 865-page book that nobody's ever going to read, or we can try to keep it simple, common sense rules, and then if an issue pops up, add something, keeping in mind that we don't want it to turn into an 800-page rule book. So,
Or a two-page rule book that nobody reads.
Or a 2-page rule book that nobody reads. Yes, please read the rules. If you do have concerns on the rules too, the way those rules are created, because I've had a couple people come to me and say, Stephen, you keep changing the rules, or why did this change? And it's really important for everybody to know that the leadership and management here at the park and staff, we don't create the rules. The rules are created by a committee. We have representation on that committee, so do owners and so do board members. So every year they kind of look at those rules, sometimes throughout the year if there's a need for a change immediately. Those changes go through that committee or recommended to the board, and the board makes a decision on them. But those rules are set approved by the board, recommended by a committee. Going once.
Stephen, thank you for another great managers meeting. I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Do I hear a second? Second. All right, it's been seconded. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.